This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, everyone, we're ready to go ahead and call the meeting to order. In the absence of our typical chair, I will just kind of be running us through the meeting. He's at a conference today, so unfortunately you're stuck with the B team. Sorry about that. Okay, so no, it still counts. It's like one of those bullpen games they have in the majors. And you're like, is this a real starter? I don't know, but they're doing it. So that's kind of where we're at. So the first item on the agenda then would be the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. So I would entertain a motion for that unless there are some corrections someone would like to bring up.
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the previous meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, the motion carries. The minutes are approved. Thank you. Our next item is access permits, and I don't see anyone from NDOT here. So we'll go ahead and skip that for now. If we do get someone from NDOT joining us, we can circle back on this. So with that, then, we'll go ahead and jump ahead to item 3, amending the Transportation Improvement Program. We actually have a couple amendments that Doug's going to present to us. So Doug, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
I'll just go ahead and do both here. Good afternoon, everyone. I have 2 amendments to the TIP to present to you this afternoon. The first one is requested by NDOT, is in regards to electric vehicle projects. We have 2 specifically. The first project is updating one that is already in the TIP. This project is going to add preliminary engineering and then update the construction costs for 2026 and then add funding for 2027 and 2028. The second project that we are adding is a construction project, specifically installing charging stations throughout the state. We are fortunate to receive one, and that's why we're putting it in the TIP. Specifically, the locations will be at the Meyer parking lot. And again, this is a statewide project. We are asking for your recommendation of approval to the policy board. Are there any questions or comments?
I move that we recommend approval to the policy board.
Second. Give it to Stu.
Okay, then, I guess if there are no further discussion items, we can go ahead and we have a motion on the table. So all those in favor of approving this, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, the motion carries. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. The next request is a fairly exciting project that I'm glad to see that we are starting here today. In the past couple months, I have been reporting that we have not allocated all of our fiscal year 2025 federal funds, specifically safety funds. So we had an idea of tapping those funds and specifically targeting improvements at the intersection of Sagamore Parkway or Special US 52 and Paramount Drive. You know, in this area, there are a lot of basically student apartments. There are several city bus stops. The county is or will be constructing a sidewalk all the way up to Sagamore Parkway. So with this project, what we envision is that at the intersection, there will be sidewalks connecting to the one county's building, and then at the corners of the intersection, and then also to the bus stops, there will be pedestrian crossing amenities at the intersection, and then looking at, in the mediums, some safety features where if you can't cross, you can actually wait. Since these are fiscal year 2025 funds, we thought about flexing them over to city bus because NDOT, as you're aware, if we program it in that fiscal year, we have to use it. But if we flex it over to city bus, they have multiple years, I believe 5 years, to use it. So this will allow us to then either they could use it for engineering or actually construction. So this gets out from us from being under NDOT's, use it or lose it within that year. So we asked if City Bus would be the sponsor. I didn't get finished with my sentence before everybody said yes. So for me, this is a really exciting project because we're addressing an issue at this intersection. And we are asking for your recommendation approval to the policy board. Questions or comments?
Do we know how much scope? So we're flexing this to City Bus.
Yes.
So will City Bus have to, then they'll run the project?
Yes.
And then, so it's going to include the crossings at Paramount and what else? How much?
Crossings across from Sagamore Parkway. And then we don't know the exact distance or how far, but it's specifically connecting to the two bus stops, one on the north side and one on the south side.
Okay.
So there'll be some connectivity so students can safely walk to either bus stop, whether it be on either side of the road.
So basically at least connect the 52 bus stops and the 2 Paramount bus stops.
Yes.
Because we're doing the.
Exactly.
So we'll have all 4 bus stops.
Mm-hmm.
At least those are our destinations, right? And then if we can do more with the money, I'm assuming we would go further. Are you envisioning the work on 52 to be sidewalk or trail?
We haven't gotten to the details that far. Right now, we're just, I'm excited to even get this project going. So,
Take whatever.
I imagine we'll probably get into the weeds here shortly thereafter, getting this programmed in.
Some of what we discussed, there's not a lot of expertise at City Bus running projects across state highways and things like that. So, if we're the project managers from that scope, but certainly looking for partnership from the county and the city of West Lafayette to help us manage the project. NDOT, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah, they're right away.
Permit. Great project. And I think I heard you say it will come with all the appropriate PED features at the traffic signal.
Correct.
Yeah, it's going to need heads and controller work. I don't know how much money we got, but we may not be going much further.
Yeah, I have no estimate at this time, but at least we're taking the step now to get this to a project so we can flex it over.
Great.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the policy board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we had some good discussion on this, so I think we're ready to vote on that. All those in favor of recommending approval of this amendment to the policy board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, the motion carries. So just as kind of a cleanup note, we are going to go ahead now and move back up to item 2, the access permit, so that we can make sure that we get NDOT a chance to comment on those if they have any. So we did not receive anything in advance of the meeting that we have attached to this packet.
Correct.
Yes. Do you have anything you would like to bring to our attention specifically, Bill?
I would like to bring to your attention that our permits manager, Justin Patterson, has had a newborn baby and is on FML medical leave. And I'm not sure that we'll have one next month because we didn't get that reassigned to somebody. So congratulations to Justin, but that's why we missed 2 months in a row. So we'll have some catch up at some point here for you guys.
All right, great. Thank you. We appreciate that. So then we'll go ahead and move back down to item 4. So the first item is what we call our development map, which I'm going to go ahead and hopefully be able to pull up on the screen for us all to kind of go through here. Okay, so this is something that our staff has put some work into creating that we think is a really good tool. So you kind of see this dashboard here that has several different features. We have, some information about current plans that you can kind of scroll through. We have approved plans. We have some upcoming cases if people would be interested in a case number. And then there are also several different ways you can kind of filter through the map with some of the legend and so on over here. So now that we've kind of familiarized ourselves with what we're looking at in terms of a user interface, what this actually shows is all the major development that's going on in Tippecanoe County. So there's a lot of really good information here. So just as an example, I'm going to go ahead and click on this here and hopefully, yep, okay. So then if you were, for example, interested in this provenance project, you could get like a brief description just by clicking on it. You can also get preliminary plan approval. It has a link to the staff report. If you were interested in getting some more information, you could click on that. It would take you to the staff report. You can scroll down. They have some, for this one, information about final detailed plan approval, building permits issued. And then there's also, as you can see, some plans here. Maybe a little hard to read in this small of a window, but again, you can click on those. You can get more information if you want to. So the whole idea of this is that it really shows, I'm going to see if I can zoom out here a little bit, everything that's kind of going on within Tippecanoe County. And it gives you a great one-stop shop where you can find some of that information. I know a lot of you are very deeply involved in some of the transportation aspects of these projects, but sometimes it's nice just to have it all in one place to look at it through one picture. We also think this is a great thing for illustrating where we might want to look at some improvements for transit, some maybe even potential smaller collector local roads where we might need to add some transportation infrastructure, sidewalks. This is a pretty new development portal that we've created, so we would like to add some more information to this over time. We've kind of just built this out as the base map, base option, but we think there is an opportunity to add a little more information to make it even more usable. As a great tool, not only for us, but also for the public to get some information. So are there any questions about this?
Is this live now?
Yes, this is on our website.
It's on your page.
Yes. So it's from the Area Plan Commission main page.
It's put a nice happy icon front and center so you can go right to it.
Go right to it. Now, is this,
There it is.
there you go. Development portal. Now, are you putting, like I know everybody does their own thing, like we've got on our map, we publish each year, there's this year's, and then everything that is funded, programmed for the next 5. Do you have future on there, or is that just a current what's happening today thing?
Do you want to get this?
Yeah, it's meant to kind of answer the question mostly from the public, where they say, what's going on? And where? They drive by, they see a sign says rezone, what the heck is that? So it's meant to be kind of a current affairs type of thing. So once a project's finished, then it's going to come off of here because it's in the ground, it's done. So it's not gonna be a history lesson of everything that's ever been built, otherwise it's gonna be a mess. So we're basically taking something through to completion and then it will come off. And you'll see it in the upper right-hand corner, it's also meant to let people know of what's coming, like public hearings that are connected with filed cases, whether it be Board of Zoning Appeals, rezone petitions, subdivisions, what have you, so that they're aware, particularly when they're out and about and they see those signs and they don't want to stop to read them that says, public hearing in 2 weeks, they could go to this thing and just look at it on a map.
So is this just, I was assuming when you were first describing it, that you're going to one shop like Park East would be on there, Morehouse.
Yeah, well, right now, this is all off right away. These are all development projects, off, so no road projects are listed here.
No road bridge.
We have the ability to do that, and we could integrate road projects in here. I know that there's, between NDOT, County Highway, the cities, everybody kind of does something like this for future road projects, so we certainly could maybe join efforts for this, but we sort of wanted to start with at least, development on private property first,
development.
land use development, but this could include road projects as well. Without too much fuss, so we're open to that.
Personally, I think that would be great to be the clearinghouse for all the agencies because,
Right.
Because
Because then it would be a
We've got our thing,
roads
cities got
and
their
development
thing,
portal, It would be everything,
Yeah.
What's going on in the right of way and what's going off right of way. So we have a extremely clever GIS technician who helped assemble all this, and I have no doubt she could integrate other data sources. But the purpose, again, is to try to keep it as current as possible until the project's completed, then it comes off. That way it's always being updated.
Right.
So open to collaborating with that if there's other agencies that, want to include road and sidewalk infrastructure, maybe even transit infrastructure that, want to represent that here. We can.
Who's your clever GIS person?
You can't have her. Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy.
She's top
with,
secret.
happy with my GIS person, but I'm just
Her name is Dalen Olgas. Yeah.
okay because I might have Shelley get with her because we've got a lot of stuff already in GIS if that's where she's.
That's where she is. Yeah.
So, GIS that we could share
Sure.
and combine pretty.
Send her my way and we can make
pretty
that connection.
easily.
Yeah.
And because Shelley.
Especially for
way out.
Well, especially
there,
for the public, they're coming to the county website. They just want to know
Yes.
all things county.
Yes.
They don't want to get into even the department weeds of which
Right.
department do I go to. They just want to know what's going on. And to a certain extent, the county got that right with like the GIS portal. It's just right there on the front page. Click, or Beacon, And so, so if you're open to kind of lending your data and put it into this, we could try it out and see what we'll come up
I
with.
think that would be really neat. Instead of having a link on our page to our project, we put a link on our page to the main.
To this, yeah.
And then as long as we have continuous update
Right.
ability.
And we could easily on here have like a little checkbox to switch off all the road projects. I just want to look at what people are developing on their property. Or maybe I just want to look at roads, so I shut off the land use stuff and I just go to transportation. So, yeah, we could easily do that. So,
Yeah, I think we'd love to jump in. I don't know about the cities or the state, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely we'd jump in.
okay. Well, like I said, send her my way and we can make connections. But you can't have Dalen. Okay.
I'm happy with Shelley.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, hearing none, then we'll go on and move to the next item. So this is mostly just an update. So for a while, we've been working on this road safety audit for Robinson Street. And we do finally have a draft of it posted on our website. So I'm not necessarily going to go through all of that because we've discussed it before at this committee. But what I do want to do is to thank everyone who was involved in that. Projects like that are never something that just one person does or just our staff does. It's a very big collaborative effort between ourselves, NDOT, West Lafayette City Engineering, some of our local law enforcement officers. LTAP has been very helpful to us throughout this, et cetera, et cetera. So all these people, have really put a lot of work into this. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank everyone who helped out with that and also to let you know that it is posted. We don't necessarily have any funding committed to projects within that report at this time, but if funding sources become available that would make sense for some of those projects, then we have this kind of on the shelf and ready to go as information that says, hey, here's what we looked at, here's what we might consider doing in this corridor, and then we can move from there. But for now, it is complete. And thank you again, everyone, for all your help with that. Any questions? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item, which is the IDNR State Trails Plan, specifically their visionary trail system that they're launching.
Hello again. As you can see, the invitation from DNR regarding update of their state trails plan. They are holding a charrette on November 14th. I don't know if you've received this email or not, but we wanted to make sure that you were all aware of it. I remember going to the last one, and it was very interesting. It was good to talk about their ideas. They were very well receiving in terms of what the people there wanted to see and add. But we wanted to make sure that all of you were aware of this. And if you have a chance, I would recommend actually going and participating. Questions or comments? Going on to the next line item, the new TIP 2026 to 2030. Just wanted to, again, bring this to your attention because on October 9th, I will be sending out emails, specifically a call for projects. Yes, we are starting the new TIP, and the call for projects will go out October 9th. We will need the completed forms returned back to us by December 6th. And then our target is at the January meeting for this body. We will then allocate all of our federal funding. The reason why, again, we are having such a fairly compact development schedule is that we are following how NDOT is developing their STIP. We need to have our draft document done by the end of February, and then we basically need to have it completed by early May. So NDOT's driving our schedule. This is the same schedule we used to develop not only the current TIP, but the previous TIP. And one other thing I'd like to mention is that we did receive our funding estimates. For each year, we have the ability to allocate $6,541,470. And I have a specific breakdown by funding category as well, if you're interested in that. So $6.5 million per year. And I will also include that information when I send out the call for projects. So just want to give all of you a heads up that it's coming. So going on to the next bit of information, where do we stand in our federal funds in terms of obligating them? Well, the good news is that all of our additional federal fiscal year 2024 funds have been obligated. We are done. We used them all, we've obligated them all, so our balance is zero. Now, the next thing in terms of 2025, the information right now is there's not much. We've obligated a little bit, but the only thing really wanted to point out was the allocation that we started today for those safety funds that are sitting out there. As usual, we will keep track of this and bring this information to the committee, but specifically wanted to make sure to let everyone know that we were successful in obligating all of our 24 funds. And the last item is the 18-month letting list. There's some new information. Specifically, it's been quite a while since we've had a project that has been on the bidding list. We have one coming up next month. As you can see, it's the new signal at State Road 26 and at McCarty Lane. We have a handful of projects the following month. The one I'm mostly interested in, as you may well be, the truss, reconstruction, and repair on the bridge over the Wabash River for State Road 225. Whenever I go out and volunteer at Prophetstown State Park, this is the first question they ask. When is it going to open? The next question is it going to actually happen? So, and then as you can see, we have two projects, 5 and 6, county projects, Bridge 527, and then the next phase of Morehouse Road. Going down, projects 14, 15, and 16, 14 and 15 are related to 9th Street. And while it says or states that the letting is on August 6th, actually has been moved recently to January 14th of 2026. And then further down on the page 20, 21, and then the following page, projects 22 and 23 are all new projects. Of course, they're all related to I-65 and thin deck overlays on the bridges. So, any comments, questions, better jokes than what I have? Hey, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So we do have one item that we didn't get on the printed agenda, but we're very happy to have our Federal Highway Administration rep, Paige, with us here today. So Paige, if you'd like to come up, I know you said that you had a few updates that you'd like to give to the committee, so go ahead and turn the floor over to you.
Thanks. Hi, thank you all. Thanks for having me. My name is Paige, as you mentioned. I am your primary contact from the Indiana Division of Federal Highway, and I have some safety updates that I want to share with you. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of these, so please bear with me a little bit if you have. These are just some focus areas that we want to make sure everybody is really keeping an eye on to keep our community safe. So first, fatalities and serious injuries have increased across the nation over the past 10 years. In 2012, there were about 33,000 fatalities, which has increased by 30% to about 43,000 in 2021. We do see this trend here in the state of Indiana as well. In 2012, there were about 800, which also increased 20% to about 930 in 2021. The share of urban fatalities in Indiana has increased and now exceeds the number of fatalities experienced in rural areas. Pedestrian fatalities are increasing and now represent more than 15% of the total fatal crashes in Indiana. Indiana is experiencing more fatalities per vehicle mile traveled today than at any time in the previous 10 years. Fatalities among all users have been increasing, and fatalities among pedestrian and bicyclists have been increasing even faster since 2010. A focus area for Federal Highway and the US DOT is to address disproportionate adverse safety impacts that affect certain groups on our roadways. Safety is a shared responsibility. It is not just Federal Highways, NDOT's, or a random person's job. It's everybody's job to strive for zero roadway fatalities. We need to incorporate safety into our planning and design of roadway and bike ped facilities. Federal Highway is committed and has ramped up the tools and resources in recent years to include a safe system approach, so thank y'all for mentioning that and focusing on it. And we've worked on the creation of the National Roadway Safety Strategy. The safe system approach involves anticipating human mistakes by designing and managing road infrastructure to keep the risk of a mistake low. The DOT has developed tools and resources available to employ proven safety countermeasures. Some of the tools and resources we have available are we are working on a grant-making workshop and course with LTAP. More details will be released when that's available. We will also be conducting a mini grant peer exchange program during the MPO conference in October. Lastly, we've added some monetary resources with the Safe Streets for All discretionary grant program. There's also some money available through HSIP and PL. Are there any questions? I do want to thank you all for not falling asleep.
This isn't necessarily a question, but I do want to just mention specifically about the Safe Streets for All. I know we didn't go over the safety action plan in detail at this committee, but it does reference the safe systems approach, proven safety countermeasures, some of those types of concepts. So we did consider that when we were building that out, and we're hoping that that can be part of the solution for an implementation grant fund that we're going to try to do to get some money into the community to help improve safety. So this is something that, like Paige said, all of us do have a hand in, and we're hopeful we can at least give it our best shot to get some of those funds to put something in the ground for that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So then our next item is kind of a miscellaneous update about the schedule. So typically, of course, we have this meeting on the third Wednesday of every month. However, in October, the third Wednesday will be when our staff is out of town at the MPO conference. And so because of that, we're going to move the meeting up to the second Wednesday, October 9th. So we just wanted to mention that to everyone. We have sent out some calendar binders and so on, but because it's outside of the normal flow of what we do, it will be on October 9th next month. So just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that again, and we will, of course, be sending out agendas and reminders and all of that in advance of the meeting as we typically do. Any questions or comments about this before we move to the citizen comments portion of the meeting? Okay, hearing none, I would at this time open the floor for citizen comments if there are any from any citizens in our audience. Well, I don't see anyone running up to the microphone, so I'll take that as there are no citizen comments. So with that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.